Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sasan Show, a podcast where we have interesting conversations with smart, intelligent people. On the WHO's website, it says that obesity rates have tripled from 1975 and that 40% of the world's adult population is overweight. Another survey in India says that 5 out of 10 urban Indians are overweight. This makes losing weight and getting fitter some of the most common New Year's resolutions that people have. Sadly, research has shown that only 20% of overweight individuals are successful at long-term weight loss. My guest on today's podcast is Kriti Shastri. She's an extremely busy entrepreneur, social media and marketing expert, business coach, social media influencer, podcaster, and more importantly, a dog mom. She has also achieved an absolutely jaw-dropping transformation. Stay tuned to the podcast to find out what helped Kriti achieve this jaw-dropping transformation despite having a hectic and packed schedule. What are some of the lessons she's learned along the way that you can apply in your life and journey? Welcome to the Sasan Show, Kriti.
Thanks, Prego. That was quite an introduction.
Yeah, glad you liked it. Glad you liked it. All right, Kriti. So let's start at the very beginning. Okay. When did your fitness journey start, and what inspired you to take the first step? Were you somebody who grew up playing a lot of sport, or was this something that you did later on in life?
So my fitness journey started out very young, somewhere around, I'd say like 9 to 10 standard. So I say fitness journey because that's when I was consciously making an effort to do an activity and pursue a goal with respect to fitness. But until then, I have been a very active kid from childhood. I was always into dancing. I used to play a lot with my friends. Back then, the devices weren't really that big of a deal. So as kids, we used to actually go out and play a lot, and that was our main pastime. So yes, I did have a very active childhood. I wouldn't say I was a sports person per se, but I did play a lot of sports as well. But then when I moved into 8th standard, 9th standard, 10th standard, I saw like a decrease in my activity levels with increased hours spent studying and boards and all of that. So during that time, I did feel a change in my body as well as my overall energy levels, and I felt lethargic. I felt like I was gaining a little bit of weight, and I didn't really feel good about myself. That's also when I moved cities. I was introduced. I mean, everything was new for me at that point of time, so I had to adjust a lot. And I went through a lot of bullying in school, high school, and that affected my confidence and my body confidence and everything. So that was my main reason to get started with fitness. After a lot of after I let it affect me mentally for quite some time, there came a point when I just decided, no, I don't want to feel like this anymore, and I'm not gonna let someone else's opinion or perception of me change my reality. I didn't want it to continue affecting me mentally. I wanted to feel good about myself. So yes, of course, I did have goals physically, like I wanted to lose weight, I wanted to look good, but I also just wanted it more for my mental satisfaction and just like feeling good about myself internally. So I started with running first and getting back into dancing because I'd taken a little bit of a break.
Can I just stop you here, because there's something that you said that I would like to talk about. You
Sure,
were
sure.
talking of bullying,
Mhm.
and your response to that was great. But I'm saying nobody has the right to comment negatively about other people's bodies. I think it's highly insensitive, and I genuinely wish you didn't have to go through that. The point that I would like to talk to you about is, what is your advice to someone who's going through this? Where people say mean things about them, about their body. Let's assume they're anyway not comfortable in their own skin, and someone else is making it worse by saying these horrible things. What do you think they should do?
I think it also depends on when that happens to you. I think in school it's very common because that's when um, people are not mature enough as well to understand how it would affect another person. But to the person who is affected, they can carry it for a very long time if uh, they don't make the decision or like at least work on healing. It can affect them for a very, very long time. And yeah, like it's obviously not fair for other people to comment on anybody else's body. Um, but I'm not sure if there will ever be a point when this never happens, especially to women. Even at a later stage, even today with like social media and everything, um, there's still comments being made every day about like so many people's bodies, which is uh, I don't think there's much that can be done to decrease that, but people should be aware of um, if that happens to you per se, then it's up to you to not to work on not letting it affect you. I think it's because you can't control other people talking about you. That's one thing that I've learned. Any people will always have something to say about your body or about what you're doing, and it can affect you. But you have to learn to not let it affect you to the point that you start um, thinking about yourself differently. So you have to build that more of a mental strength. And there are so many things that you can do to build that, but I don't think you should give the power of your own confidence to other people, because that will always be there. That external factor will always be there. It sucks, but that is the reality.
Do you want to get into what people can do? Because you said there are a lot of ways for people to build that confidence. Would you like to get into
Mm-hmm.
this? Would you like to get
Yeah,
into
yeah,
that?
sure thing.
Can you tell us a few things?
Yeah. So I think the first thing to start is you have to um, think about what it is that you are really skilled at, because everybody has one skill that they excel at, no matter what it is. It can be, it may not be a physical thing. It can be like maybe you're really good at painting, maybe you're really good at
You
singing.
could
I
be
don't know,
really
like
good at solving the Rubik's Cube or Sudoku or anything,
exactly.
mathematics.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So everybody has a skill that they are skilled at differently than others. And realizing that skill about you can really make you value yourself differently. I think valuing yourself is very, very important, because that is when you have that confidence and you stop comparing yourself with other people. So when that comparison piece goes out and someone says something to you, you immediately, if you have that value that okay, this is what I am really good at, then you automatically don't let things affect you. That's the first layer. So knowing that skill, what you're really good at, and spending time on that skill, making sure that you're actually doing something that gets you better or makes you be in that zone where you're actually practicing that skill is very important. And on top of that, you have to add in activity, like no matter what, even if it is walking or cycling or whatever you like to do, swimming, right, dancing. I think physical activity has this power of just like, of course, the endorphins and all of that, but it gets you in that state of being where your body is naturally like feeling good, right? You feel good about yourself physically and mentally, and you feel like you're releasing that stress, whatever you, because every day is stress for everyone, no matter what level of stress, but everybody has stress in their life. So it's very important for you to have a physical activity that you actually enjoy and build that up as part of your daily routine. So every day, if you're spending an hour being active and some time working on a skill that you love, that combination can really help you to build confidence. So if you have confidence and you know what you are all about, if someone comments on that, on your anything negatively, then you don't take that personally. Like, you have that shield, you have that protective layer of your self-worth, to kind of keep you from, keep you from like getting offended, or taking that up so much that you're kind of stressed out and you're thinking about that all the time.
I think this is extremely, extremely useful. And if someone's listening and they just take away this from the entire conversation, I think that's great. I mean, wow, thank you so much for sharing that, Kriti.
Of course,
Let's
yeah,
get
I'm
back.
glad.
Let's get back to what you were saying. So you were saying then you started with dancing because that's something that you loved, and you added running to it. Yeah. So we were at that point till we digressed. Yes. Then what happened?
Yeah, so then so from what I remember, it's been about 10 years since then. So I'm just trying to
Okay.
recollect, what I used to do. So that was my initial activity that I picked up because it was easy for me. So this is another thing, that when you're getting started, it is important for you to start with something that feels natural and easy to you. Because when you're starting a habit, it's already difficult to be consistent at that habit. If you
Yes.
add in another layer of picking something up that you're not familiar with, or if your friend says, oh, you should do this, but you don't know what that is about. Like, let's say, your friend is a swimmer and they're like, hey, you should start swimming, but you are not a swimmer, you've never done it, and you don't have the habit of actually making time for an activity every day, and you try swimming, you're not going to stay consistent because it's new, right? So I think it's very important for you to start with something that feels familiar, that you know what that is all about, and you are just focusing on consistency, and spending that time. Then once you're consistent and you add in, okay, I want to try something new, then it becomes easier for you to kind of be consistent and also learn something new. So I started with something that was familiar, which was dancing, and running is something that I didn't really like, but I started doing it anyway just because at the time, I really wanted to lose weight. So
Let's face the facts, Kriti. There is nothing in the world which is as much fun as running. So yeah, I completely agree.
of course, coming from you being a runner, that's
Yes.
typical of you to say. I wouldn't expect anything less. But yeah, I love running as well. So I think it's something that anybody and everybody should.
It's something very accessible, Kriti. I mean, on a serious
Exactly.
note, all you have to do is just have a pair of running shoes. If you have half an hour, that's about it. You live in an area where there's
Yeah.
not too much traffic.
Yeah.
Finished. That's all.
If you
That's all
have
you need.
dogs, even better.
Even
Just
better. Yeah.
take them out. Yeah. I didn't have dogs back then, but my dad used to go for running every day. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'm going to come with you. So yeah, I lost a lot of weight initially. So within 6 months, I lost around 7 to 8 kgs.
Wow.
Um,
That's a
yeah,
lot.
which was,
That's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty drastic. And also, it felt like I was doing a lot and eating very less, which was actually true. I was doing a lot. I used to go for running in the morning, and then I would come back from school and spend an hour dancing. That's a lot of cardio
That is a
activity in a
lot.
day.
That is a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And on
and I
top
used
of
to eat
that,
very
like you
less.
said, you're not eating enough. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did not know anything about nutrition. I was not consciously, in the Indian diet, anyway, protein intake is pretty less. So I did not know anything about balanced nutrition or what I should be eating. I just wanted to eat as less as possible. So I went that route, and after about 9 months of doing that, I fell really sick. So I got admitted for, I got a viral fever, I think dengue.
Okay.
I had dengue for, I think, a week, and I became very, very weak. I lost even more weight, and lost a lot of, like, my cardio strength. I could not walk for even 30 minutes. It
I'm
was
sure
like,
you lost a lot of muscle.
yeah, I didn't have a lot of muscle to begin with because I never did strength training. I was only doing cardio. But yes, it felt like I lost a lot. Like, if I don't know if you know, but are you aware of Insanity by Shanti?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I had started doing insanity workouts just before I fell sick. I completed the main insanity. I think it's about what, 8
P90X.
weeks. Yes. No, not T90X. T90X is different. The insanity 45-minute hit program that's there. I think that's for 30 minutes. I mean, sorry, 30 days is what I remember, or was it 60? I'm not sure. But I completed that program, and then I was doing the 30-minute, the next version of Insanity, which was 30-minute workouts.
I
That's when I
have
fell
done
sick.
Shanti workouts. Doing
Okay,
2 in a
yeah,
day is madness. Doing one itself, it's an intense session.
yeah.
Wow.
Now, I used to not do two. I would go for 21K run, come back, and do 45-minute Insanity workout. Your
So
face
you
right now.
ran a half marathon and you in the same day.
Yeah, I used to come back home and
And you are telling me you are doing all of this without eating enough.
yep.
I mean, hats off to your willpower, but
Yeah. I think I was totally crazy about fitness by then, and I did not even feel like I couldn't do it. Like I wanted, it became like a high. The more I did, the better I felt about myself at that point. So, every day I would take it up as a challenge. Okay, today I'm going to finish 25 kilometers, come back and do Insanity. Um, so, and the days that I could actually finish that much, that felt great, and I would sleep for the rest of the day. That's a different story. But yeah, I did do that for quite a while, and then I fell sick. And then when I tried to go for a run, I could not even walk. It was, I felt like I lost a lot of the, strength and the cardio fitness that I had built. Um, and that took a while for me to get over, because I was also mentally, I felt really stressed that I spent so long trying to, work on my fitness and everything. And then it felt like a huge step back. And even though I had lost a little bit of weight, but I didn't feel good in my body. I felt like, I just wanted my energy back more than anything. So that's when I started learning about nutrition a little bit. And at this point, I was in college. I was running marathons. So I used to do, 10K, half marathons. The longest I've done is 25 ultra marathon. But I was doing marathons, and with that, I slowly started eating better. So I was focusing on, getting some protein in every day and trying to eat a little bit more than what I used to. And it's not like you learn a little bit and then there's this switch and you completely have like a different diet. Now, of course, a lot more information is available, but at that time it was still limited information. So from whatever I could gather, I was trying to slowly make changes to my daily nutrition. And I was in hostel, so managing nutrition in hostel is also not easy. I used to eat in mess, and I didn't have supplements back then.
a
So
friend of mine calls living in a hostel the bulking phase of human life.
how?
You
It's
know,
such bad food.
you're bound to gain weight.
Really? Okay. I used to struggle to eat enough. That's always been
Oh,
the story of my life. I always struggle to eat enough. Only because I think my appetite is very less. But yeah, hostel food, not great. At least for me,
I mean,
it
very
was,
little protein, very little fiber. That's typical hostel food. A lot of carbohydrates. Yeah. If you have to sum it up,
yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah. So I still don't think I got enough protein even in through college, even when I started strength training, because I wasn't using a supplement. And there's only so much that you can do with like protein bars and, dairy. That's about it. What else can you have? Like eggs. I remember I used to have this kettle and I used to like try to boil eggs there because my hostel didn't have eggs. So yeah, that was how I managed hostel life and trying to train. But at that point, my strength training was only to get back because I felt like I lost a lot of strength during that phase. So the reason I started lifting weights was so that I could have enough strength to go for marathons and also do insanity. So I just wanted to build it up back to the level where I could do both again.
Got it.
But that's where it like derailed, because I got totally I got really into strength training at that point. And then I didn't go back to insanity after that.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you didn't. I'm glad you didn't. Strength training is so much better.
Yeah.
When was this roughly the stage when you started posting on Instagram?
Yep.
Because I was watching your podcast and you were talking of posting on Instagram and not a lot of people being aware of Instagram at that point. And that led to, again, bullying of a very different kind. Do you want to open up about that?
Yeah, definitely. So
It's
funnily,
not because I want to talk about it, but because I want to show people that, hey, just because of what you see of Kriti today on Instagram, that does not mean that that's how it's always been. She's had a journey that's helped her reach this stage. So if you could
mhm.
talk of that, that'll be great.
Yeah, for sure. No, I was just about to say that funnily, the people who used to make fun of me during that time were the people who messaged me a while ago about how proud they are of like knowing me and having, seeing how good I'm doing and stuff like that, which is very funny to me because at that point I knew that um like this would, I mean, I kind of believed in myself more than anything. And I think that came from what I spoke about, like building that layer, right? Having a skill and having some kind of activity. I think that's really helped me to build a lot of self worth and confidence to a point where no matter what someone else says, I really don't care unless they're someone who's really close to me. So since I was able to do that and build that layer at a very young age, going into college and having coming across people who basically judged me for what I was doing. Even I used to wake up at 5, go out for running in my campus, and there were a lot of people who would like comment on that and say, why does she? Or I would say no to like going out in the evenings, or I was like very like like square box. I would just wake up, do my thing, go to college, come back, eat whatever, and then like sleep on time. I used to be in bed by 9 p.m. So very obviously, it's if you are someone like that and you are with people who are very different, you are bound to have get opinions and get people talking about you negatively and stuff like that. But I really believed at that point that whatever I was doing was something that was very true to myself, and I have very strong intuition. I think most people have strong intuition, but they just are not aware how to tune in. If you don't feel like you have a strong intuition, you do. You just probably haven't, like learned how to tune into yourself. So that's something that I've always been able to do because I have spent a lot of time by myself doing my own thing. So when I started Instagram, it was purely because one, I used to follow a lot of people on Instagram to learn about what others are doing for their fitness journey. And I was like, since I was so passionate about it, I just wanted to like absorb as much knowledge as possible. So I came across this app and I saw what people were doing, and very few Indian influencers fitness in the fitness field at that point of time. So it was just something that started as a way of sharing my own journey, but also connecting with people because I felt like I didn't connect with anyone. I didn't connect with many people in my college who could understand me or see what I was doing or trying to do, at that point. So it was just a way of um, connecting with people across the world, like people in different places who kind of were doing the same thing that I wanted to do, and learn from them. And if they could, give me some advice, I would obviously appreciate that at that point. So that was why I started. And fitness field was very tricky back then, not very popular. People did not, view it as something positive because they would just judge you based on, oh, she's just trying to show off, or oh, why is she posting like her progress pictures or like body pictures and stuff like that. And so yeah, I did get a lot of judgment in college for that. And I remember taking that in as just they weren't people that I would anyway connect with. So I didn't let that affect me to the point that I would just, make a decision that, oh, I'm not going to do this, because I saw that as a way of getting into the field, which I really wanted, and connecting, getting opportunities that I really wanted, right? Maybe, and it's funny because at that point, I didn't see people actually doing what I wanted. Like, I didn't know what I would get to do. I didn't have a clear picture. I didn't know, okay, if I do this, then I'll get this and I'll get there, and that's it. Like, I didn't know my journey, but I just knew that this was a step that would lead me to something that I wanted to do. So that's why I didn't let it affect me. And I just focused on, I put everything into it, basically. So I was, writing for fitness magazines, and I was really trying to find out ways in which I could be in the industry at that point of time. I saw a lot of like bikini athletes, and what their content looked like. I got into YouTube blogging. So it was like a lot of just trying out like whatever I could do. And then I figured, okay, if I try everything, I might find something that I would be interested in, and that would lead me to the next thing. So, yeah, I forget what was your original question.
No. It was how did you deal with the hate on Instagram?
Yeah.
So you dealt, and this has answered it perfectly. All right. So then you're at college, and now college is done, and now it's time to enter into the big bad real world. And you clearly want to do something in fitness. But since I know you studied engineering, and then what did you do? Did you decide? And you're already writing for fitness magazine. So then did you take the plunge and get a job as a trainer or as a coach or as with the gym, or did you, do what was expected of anybody with an engineering degree and get a IT job?
Yeah, so that's a very interesting question. I completed engineering and I sat for placements, but in my head, I knew that I was not going to work for any company. At that point, um, I only had two options in my mind. One was I would go for MS and study something related to fitness. So
Okay.
I thought I would do exercise science, go for MS, and that would be one way of getting into the field. Or second option was I will do my own thing. I will figure it out. I was already writing for magazines. I thought maybe I could just do content writing for a while and then figure it out from there. I sat for placements because of my parents. I thought that, I mean, everybody was sitting for placements, and my parents wanted me to
I
get
have a
a job.
feeling I'm watching Three Idiots all over again.
Oh my God, yeah.
To
Yeah,
those
I
of
mean,
you
this
who've
is,
not watched Three Idiots, well, get off my podcast, watch Three Idiots, and you can always watch the podcast again.
yeah. Three Idiots is a must watch for sure. I did relate a lot to the movie, but no, my parents
I'm not
have been so
surprised.
supportive. Yeah. No, they're like my biggest
Oh,
supporters
I'm
today.
so sorry. I didn't mean any disrespect
No,
at
of
all.
course not. Yeah. No, I got that. I just want to share a little bit about that because I know that a lot of people face that. Um, no matter if you're doing engineering and if you want to do your own thing, or if you want to do your own thing from the very beginning, you don't want to do engineering. Like there's a lot that plays a role in, your career. Your parents play a big role because right from what you want to do after school, you get influenced by your parents, and that can change your whole trajectory. If you don't have a lot of support from your parents or your family, and you are not sure what you want to do, and then you just kind of follow whatever other people are telling you, you can get pulled into things and you won't even realize it. 10 years later, you'll be like, oh, I want to do something completely different. So, that happens a lot in our society. And I have always been very aware of that. And as a child, I was sure that I would always do something different. Like, I did not want to do what a lot of people around me did, not because of, I think everybody is very unique and they should always be aware of their unique factors. And even if you're, working for a corporate, for example, you still have a lot of unique skills that you should always try to build and do something with that. It doesn't mean that you should go and build a business. Not everybody needs to do that or
Correct.
wants to do that.
Correct.
But having things that could potentially utilize that skill set is very important for your overall fulfillment, because otherwise you feel like you're always not doing enough, or you're not really doing what you are meant to do. And that feeling gets bigger and bigger with time and age. And that's something that I've just learned from my own experiences. But in college, I was very aware of that. So I knew that getting a corporate job was not going to utilize any of the things that I am really good at. And I had an interest towards robotics earlier in college, which I wanted to explore. And I did that through, like, I did a lot of internships and projects and all of that, which was great. But, like, at a lot of points in your life, you have multiple things that you could potentially be great at.
Yeah.
Like not everybody, I wouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people feel like they're skilled in multiple
More than one
things.
area.
Yeah. And that becomes very difficult, because then you're like, okay, what do I pursue? Should I pursue A, B, C? Like everything can lead to completely different career paths. And you also feel like you don't want to miss out on the other one. So that is something that I have always struggled with. And to make a decision, it takes a lot of time and understanding what you really truly want. So in college, it was easy for me because, fitness was my one and only thing. I was like, okay, I'm going to go after it. I just didn't know how, because I didn't have any like role models that was in my particular situation that I could look at and be like, okay, she did this, so maybe I could, do the same thing. I had to build my own path. So at that point, I decided to sit for placements and just um, have that option just in case, right? So I got a job in Cognizant, and I applied for MS, but I didn't get in because I had to do lot of prerequisites, since my background was in computer science. So that's, I mean, I did not have a science background, and a lot of courses that you have to do for exercise science do require you to finish a lot of, prerequisites. So that could have taken me another 2 years. And at that point, I thought, okay, I'm already working. I don't want to spend 2 years not doing anything in the fitness field. I think that could like potentially take me farther away from, doing my own thing. So in my head, it felt like a distance and a disconnect of some sorts. So I decided not to go for MS. And I took some time off. I think it was about not too long, 3 or 4 months. I rejected the Cognizant offer, and at this point, I've come back home from hostel, and I'm at home. I'm writing articles. I'm figuring out more options to pursue that at a greater depth. Um, but then I was dealing with a lot of just family telling you, asking you questions. Hey, like, what are you doing with your life? Get out of the house, do something. They didn't really see what I was doing, because it is difficult to see or understand content writing in the fitness field and weight loss. And they're like, what is this even going to lead at this point? So you have a computer science degree, do something with it. Unfortunately, at that time, I got that offer back from Cognizant, asking me again to come and join. So I was like, okay, I want to get out of the house. I don't care, how long I'm here, but I'll just get out and figure out, what if I can do both. If I can go to Cognizant, work there for a while, pursue my passion, and figure out a way to get into the industry somehow. So I left home. Got placed in Chennai. So I was there for 3 months, and that felt like the longest 3 months of my life. It was really, really, really difficult, because I remember sitting in office every day. I would go to the washroom and cry for like an hour.
Oh, wow.
And then yeah, it was quite depressing. And I would just talk to and this was the training period. It wasn't even like I was in it for years, but
Got it.
it felt like I was wasting my time. That's what it felt like. It felt like every day I have to spend a majority of my day doing something that I absolutely hated. And that was not building any of my skills or utilizing my skills.
When you're clearly
And
passionate about something else.
yep, yeah. So I would just sit and cry about why I'm here and, why it's so difficult to like make people understand what I want to do. And I'm sure my colleagues got like fed up of me at that point. But I mean, they have been, I think the only way I survived through that was meeting really great people who are still my friends. So that time was crucial for me because that made me understand how much I really truly felt for what I wanted to do. And at this time, so I will tell you, if you want me to just go into like a little bit into um, how what my time not time but like my schedule looked like
Yeah, please.
during my
That'll be very
corporate life.
interesting. Yeah. During those 3 months
So
at Cognizant Chennai. Yeah.
So I'll just tell you a day in my life. Right now, when I imagine it, I still can't believe that I used to do that. But so I would wake up at 5 and I would have like this morning routine, which was like my time, right? So this morning routine, I remember building it up back in college because I just needed that peace of mind when everybody else is sleeping and I wake up and I write in my diary what my thoughts are, my intentions are, and stuff like that. And then I would sit and drink my coffee in peace. So that was built in my college only because I needed that mental space when I was dealing with so much of hatred and judgment on a daily basis. It really helps you if you can just focus in and like start your day with just under like talking to yourself and like building that kind of connection with yourself in the morning. So I used to do that. I continued that even when I had a job. So 5 to 6, I would sit and do that, and then 6 to 7, I used to do YouTube during that time. So I would edit videos, and then I would like get ready to work, go to office by 8, and before that I would like prep my meals and stuff. So I would like cook with whatever skills I knew at the time. I remember I used to not even know how to boil eggs. I wasted so many eggs during that time. I would boil it and I'd be like, okay, this is not boiled. We are having scrambled eggs.
I have given
So
up. I have given up. I do not know how to boil eggs. I have absolutely given up. I can have sunny side up, scrambled, poached, just don't know how to boil them.
oh, I know now. I can tell you after this interview how to exactly boil them. But yeah, I used to really struggle. So I would pack my meals, go to work, and straight from work, I used to go to the gym. So I would pack my bag, and my bag used to be so big because I had my laptop and my like chargers and everything. On top of that, I would have my gym clothes. I would have like my meals, my shoes. So looked like I was like going for a vacation every single day. So my colleagues would ask me like, why is your bag so heavy? And if they open, everything would like just come out. So my office used to finish by like 6, and then straight 6 p.m. I used to be out the door. I don't care like who is asking me or talking to me about what. I used to just get out, get to the gym by 6:30, 6:40 p.m. And then I would work out, finish my workout by 8:30 or 9. And then I would walk back. So I didn't have a vehicle at that time. So I used to walk almost like 3 kilometers to 4 kilometers back from the gym. So I would reach home by like 10 p.m. And because I was doing YouTube, I would edit my videos from like 10 to 1 ish. And then I would go to sleep for like 3 to 4 hours and then wake up and do it all over again. So it was like my videos were like not of great quality at all. It's not like I had a lot of equipment or anything. I would just shoot with my phone, whatever I could, my daily routine, gym workouts, or like whatever. And weekends I used to film a lot more. But I still don't know what I was trying to do. But I was just like so involved in that process. And I was so like, okay, I have to get into the field somehow. And I would do everything that I can right now. So I used to do that every single day. And I didn't feel like tired, or the only time I used to feel tired was when I was in office because I was really not doing something that I wanted to do. But otherwise I felt this rush to like keep going, keep working hard. um and that was my routine. So that felt like, I mean, now it feels like a lot because I
It
didn't
just
have.
comes across to me, Kriti, that you just don't allow yourself any excuses. Once you realize that this is what I want, then you really throw the kitchen sink at it.
Yep,
And if that
just
means
go.
that you're going to be up at 5 and sleep at 1, so be it. Like
Yep.
that's, and man, what a tremendous, what tremendous drive. Welcome to the grind, Kriti style.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, that was quite crazy now that I think about
So
it.
I was then chatting with a friend of mine, and I was telling her, that I'm going to be doing a podcast with Kriti, and
Mhm.
my friend's name is Anki. And then Anki said she has two questions for you. So I'm going to ask Anki's questions.
Yeah, sure.
Especially because at this time when your days start at 5 and they end at 1 in the night. So her first question to you is, when you're on your period, how did you deal with cravings?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Well, I think it has evolved. So initially, when I did not have much idea about nutrition, I used to not care at all. Like I would eat whatever. I would not really give it a thought. But with the nutrition angle in mind and keeping that, okay, you are on a goal to maybe lose weight, or you are trying to stay consistent with your fitness routine, and you have been following a diet, and then suddenly you feel a lot of cravings, which could or may not be during your periods. Like usually it's week 3, week 4 is when most women start feeling a little bit like fatigued, and like you want to eat a lot more than what your hunger cravings are a lot more. So I would say that um having a lot of fiber in your diet is very, very important. And it could be like more fruits, more vegetables, especially during that time, because that really controls your cravings to a great extent. And I've tested this out personally. Like I do this because um, not only is it more filling, but it's also more fulfilling for yourself. Like you feel good when you're eating a lot more fruits and consuming like salads and things like that, which is like higher volume, more fiber, and also be aware of what you're really craving for. Because sometimes if you're craving for, let's say, sweet, um, that can be a lot of different things. You don't need to go grab a chocolate, but you can have a lot of other things like, let's say, yogurt with fruits, which with some honey on top. Like that's a sweet, that's a dessert, basically, right? But it's not really, it's good for you. It's like you have a lot of protein and
Definitely better than
fruits,
chocolate.
fiber.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no arguments
But
there.
that doesn't mean you don't reach out for the chocolate either.
Moderation.
So for me, what I like to do is so my nutrition is pretty on point most of the time. I kind of have to now. I'm like on I'm doing a show at the end of December. I'm into bikini bodybuilding, so I'm doing a show and I'm on a prep, and I know that my caloric intake has to be a certain amount, and I struggle to eat more. That's been my problem. So I track
Most
so that I
people,
know I'm
most
eating.
people are not hearing problem. Most people are hearing how lucky.
Yeah, no, definitely no. I mean, I wouldn't want to comment. I think both are, like problems in itself, because
Uh,
if I'm not
lighter,
eating enough,
lighter win. I agree with you.
right. Yeah. So, because my diet is pretty on point most of the time, if I do have cravings, when I'm on my period, I give myself that time to like eat whatever I want, because I feel like um it's important to also kind of not be too hard on yourself a lot of the time. Even if you're on a goal, I think when you're on your period, it's like a lot more to do with emotional eating than, like eating towards a goal. So, of course, your nutrition needs to be good, especially during that time. So, you need to have enough fruits and vegetables, um, good amount of protein, even then. But the choice of food can be different. So let's say that I want more sweet, I want chocolate, I'm going to have that chocolate. But at the same time, I'm also going to make sure my body is getting enough nutrition and I'm not eating junk, or like I'm not going for burgers and shit like that. So I think it's that. And it comes with a lot of practice, right? Like, I don't think this is the first thing that you would do if you're just starting to get into a diet. You're more prone to, okay, today I'm just going to take off and I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want. That's the usual mindset. But if you are having a lot of junk during that time, that only causes more, cramps, and you're not gonna feel good at the end of the day. Not because you ate junk, but just your body is not gonna feel at its best. So for best functioning of your body and also to keep your heart happy. I think there needs to be a balance of good nutrition and also allowing yourself that space to have things that you like. If you're a chocolate person, have a chocolate, have an ice cream. Like that's not gonna completely throw you off track, provided that the next day you're a little bit more conscious and you're kind of um, trying to take care of what you're putting in your body. Does that make
Huh,
sense?
absolutely, absolutely. And since I don't have periods, at least let me not crack any silly joke. I don't have periods. I will not comment on this. Uh, I was just going to say the meal period doesn't count. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now, her next question is: did people treat you differently after your transformation? I mean, you did touch upon it. The same people who kind of did bully you did reach out to you and tell
Hmm.
you that they were extremely proud of your journey. But did you largely see people treat you differently?
For sure, 100%. So the thing is, I think most people look at you
And
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 then decide how to talk to you.
an extension of that question: did they
Yeah.
treat you differently because the transformation made you a lot more confident and you were more confident, so people treated you differently? Or did they treat you differently because people just treat people who are fit uh, differently?
I think a mix of both, honestly. Of course, the way I carry myself is very different than what I used to, because yes, I did lack confidence. And the way that I would even respond to people was very different. And today, if someone even walks up to me and says something negative to me, it would absolutely not affect me at all, to the point where I would just smile and walk away. Like that's the kind of mindset that I have, and also belief that I have, where I know that it's not true, right? So I really don't care. But yeah, like I think that the way that people talk, the way that people approach me, or like anyone who has gone through a transformation, is different, because a lot of people, the first thing is, yeah, people may not know you have had a transformation. If
Correct.
someone new comes up to me, they would not know that, okay, I've
They
gone
won't.
through
Yeah.
this. Yeah, but the way that they talk is only different because I think it comes from one, knowing that you're someone who is disciplined because of the way that you look, right? So they already have that layer of, like either respect or just curiosity, or like wanting to know how you are, where how you got where you are today, that kind of a thing. So they talk to you from already like knowing that or understanding that. But also, if someone who has known you and then they come and approach me today from when they knew before, it's only because they would have judged me back then, and then now when they come and talk, it's from a kind of almost like a surprise that I was able to pull it off. Right? So they're like, comments that they've made, maybe they feel bad about it now that, okay, they've said such things. And today they're like, either they would try to go back on their words and be like, no, I didn't really mean that, which is funny because they did. Or, they would, yeah, just like kind of feel, again, curious to like know how I did it. And they wanna know, how they could do it for themselves, probably. So yeah, I think a lot depends on your physical appearance for sure, both positive and negative. And I don't think people should judge people by the way they look. Definitely not. But sadly, a lot of people do. Whether you're someone who is confident in yourself or not, people do tend to judge you by how you look. But I think confidence really does it all. So if you are someone, it doesn't matter how you look, but like if you're confident in yourself, right? The way you carry yourself changes. And that's what changes other people's behavior towards you, because the way that you carry yourself and the way that you talk about yourself, that energy always affects people around you. So whether that is negative or positive, if you don't feel confident, other people are going to know that you're not confident. And if you are confident, that energy also kind of like goes to other people and they see you as a confident person. So I think
Absolutely.
that's where, yeah, that's the secret to like having people talk to you differently. It's how you talk to yourself first.
So one of my last questions to you is, let's say somebody is just starting their transformation.
Mm-hmm.
And like I was saying in the beginning, in your introduction, about 80% of people kind of don't succeed at this. What would your advice be to them? Like there have been lots of small nuggets that you dropped during this entire
Mm-hmm.
conversation. But if you had to kind of give a list of 3-4 things that you would recommend someone does who's trying to start this transformation, what would it be?
Absolutely. Okay.
And let
So,
us start with the underlying belief that people might not have your level of dedication to this.
yep,
So let's start with that underlying belief and saying, okay, what would be your advice to them?
sure thing. So I think I will make this very, very simple.
Okay.
Um, First thing, if you want to transform, I would say understand what is it, why is it that you want what you want? Understanding that is very, very important because today you might feel like you want to lose weight. Um, and tomorrow you might feel like you want to look like someone. You want to like you have and you might not still know why you want that. Like, do you want that for yourself, or do you want that for other people, or do you want like why do you want to transform? And I say that because a lot of the reason why you fall off track is because you're not clear about your why. So let's say that I want to lose weight, and I know that I want to lose weight because I want to get better at running. Okay. So I want to lose a little bit of weight, I want to gain some strength so that I can run better, I can have better timing. That's a very clear goal, and I can now have a good plan in action to get to that goal. But let's say that I say I want to lose weight, and I'm going to just start with some kind of a plan, and along the way, you because you're not clear about your why, you are less likely to follow through. You will let excuses come in the way. You will feel like, okay, today I'm not going to follow whatever diet, and it becomes easier for you to lose track because you're not very connected with your why. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you start small and start slow. Right, so you don't have to start like a full on program from day one, both training and diet and everything. So I've worked with a lot of fitness coaching clients and a lot of women specifically. And what I really recommend always for them to start with, even if you're like a complete beginner, is start with walking 30 minutes a day. Don't start directly with cardio and strength and, oh, I'm going to start this diet. Like that's going to last you maybe for 4 days. And then you're going to feel fatigued, and then you're going to take 3 days off, and then you're going to forget what that plan looked like. So that's usually how it goes. So it's always good to start building small habits slowly, day by day, and you stack those habits, right? So today you start with, okay, I'm going to wake up at this time. I'm going to you know have 3 meals, 2 snacks, let's say, building some structure. You're not really following calories, but you're more concerned about, okay, what you're eating and what are the portion sizes, right? And it should look very similar to your regular day-to-day diet. It's not completely new. So again, familiarity, losing words, familiarity, doing something that you are familiar with and not something that is completely different than what you're used to, and slowly stacking those habits and building it up to a point where that becomes your regular thing. So if I was a beginner and I start a bikini prep, that's not going to go very well for me because first, I'm new to training. Second, now I have a pressure of, oh, I have to like build so much muscle and like lose so much fat and stand on a bikini on a stage in like 9 months. That's not going to happen. I have to have that base, right? So building that base, whatever that base looks like for you, if you are clear, okay, I want to lose 10 kgs by the end of 2 years, that's a goal, right? So then how you go about it is first you start with um, first identifying why is it that you want to lose that weight. Is there something that you're planning for, preparing for? What is that like strong why that you have? Second, you start small, stack those habits day by day, and always make sure that you have something like identify what gets you off track. So if you're someone who struggles with consistency, why is it that you've not been able to stay consistent? That's also very important to understand, because a lot of times if you're not aware of it, it's going to keep happening. So is it that you have a very hectic work schedule and you don't have time to prep your meals? Is it that you are lazy to go to the gym? Is it that you don't like working out at home and you want to get to the gym? Understanding why, like, what is that factor that makes you feel like, oh, I just don't want to do this, or I don't want to like wake up so early in the morning. I can't get to the gym so early. Understand that your fitness journey is your fitness journey. There is no one else coming and telling you this is what you need to do to lose weight or get to your goals. You are the person who gets to decide that. Like, it's your life, it's your body, and you can go about it in so many different ways. So it's not that, oh, my friend is doing this, so I have to do this to lose weight. I think that's where the problem lies, because you're always trying to like run after someone else's routine and think that it can work for you, but your routine is very different from other people. So knowing fully well, okay, this is what I struggle with. I struggle with waking up early. Okay, go to the gym later. Go to the gym at night. It's okay. You can work out at night, right? Or if you are someone who struggles with meal prep, today you have so many options for meal prep. There are so many companies that offer meals. You can get a cook. You can figure that out, right? So knowing, okay, this is my problem, and then going about it in a way that, okay, if I fix this problem, maybe it'll fix my problem of consistency, right? And then that becomes easy. So I think, yeah, that those three things are very important: knowing your why, starting small, stacking habits slowly, and then identifying what gets you off track. That should do it. Like, that's
So something that
basically.
gets a lot of people off track is going for a
Mhm.
holiday.
Oh yeah.
So you go for a holiday, you say, I'm not going to exercise on my holiday. I'm not on a holiday. All right, don't exercise on your holiday. And then you say, hey, I'm on my holiday. I'm going to, what's the point of not having a beer, cheesecake, Mysore Pak, etc., etc.? Great. And then they come back and they're not able to get back into that routine. So could you first give us tips on whether how can someone get some exercise on their holiday? What can they do to so that they make sure that they at least eat semi-healthy on a holiday? And
Yeah.
then once they come back from a holiday, what should they do?
Yeah, for sure. So I think a very practical tip for holiday is always have a very good breakfast. So your breakfast makes your day. If you have a good breakfast, get more protein in, because on holiday you will most likely not get protein in for the rest of your meals unless you are eating, a lot of meat in every meal, or like you're aware of protein options, and you're consciously taking, like, you will end up eating a lot more junk. You'll end up eating a lot more carbs in total. So breakfast, keep it lighter carb, more protein, more protein heavy. So like, have eggs, have more dairy options, and just make sure that you are eating a good, heavier breakfast so that you can avoid, keep your other meals a little bit lighter, because breakfast has healthier options usually, no matter where you're staying.
Eggs.
So yeah, eggs is the best thing. So that is one. And I think second tip for holiday is moderation is key. So, no matter, because this is not the only holiday of your life. You are going to have a lot of holidays. You're going to have a lot of vacations. And this, like, all or nothing mindset usually gets
I
you to a
think I
place
think
where
that's
you,
going to be the tagline of my next holiday. This is not the only holiday of your life. So
yeah. Yeah, for sure. It helps if you have that mindset. Okay, this is just a day where I'm going to relax my body and mind, but doesn't mean that I'm gonna like take in everything that I can, and yeah, put in my body. So I think that's something that is very important to be conscious of, and knowing that, okay, I'm gonna indulge, but not to the point where I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and feel like shit, which happens a lot of times, like especially events, like festivals. You eat a lot, So indulge. I'm not saying don't indulge, but indulge to a capacity where you're like, okay, I am fulfilled, right? I'm having a dessert and I'm feeling happy, or I'm going for drinks and I'm having a couple of whatever starters and I'm feeling good about it, but not overdo it to the extent that that's gonna make you feel bad the next day. So there is that point. You will realize that, I think if you've already done this a lot of times, you know what that point is, right? So stopping there and then realizing that having that balance in other meals as well. So I would say in holidays, like it's not that all meals you indulge. You can keep it to one meal a day, right? Towards dinner, probably you're like, okay, dinner is when I'm going to let myself have whatever I want and whatever I feel like having, have a couple of drinks or whatever. So that's, again, that limits your time frame, right? So you can't really overdo it to that extent. You can if you want to, but you shouldn't do that. So keeping a good breakfast and going a little bit, I'll say even like doing 2 meals a day usually works for me. So if I'm on holidays and
You
I'm
just
like
do breakfast
eating,
and dinner? You
yeah,
skip lunch?
sometimes like if I'm having late nights, that works great because I can have like a brunch and
Ah,
then yeah, and
straight
of
dinner.
course have activity like mornings, or I think activity is also very important. Not like intense activity, but at least going for walks and walking little distances, not
You could
going
just
by
use the
vehicles
hotel
everywhere.
pool. If you're in a
Yeah,
place that has access to a pool, I think that's, or the beach. So the beach and the pool are two great places, according to me, that,
exactly.
anywhere you like to go to the beach, anywhere you like to go to the pool, just
Yep.
make it more fun.
Yeah. And if it's a work trip, go to the hotel gym. First thing in the morning, 5 to 6, hit the hotel gym, get it done. That also gives you a great, I think it kind of increases your day's productivity as well, just getting some activity done in the morning. And usually I make that like a non-negotiable. I just don't even think about it. Wake up, go to the gym, get it done. Even if it's like just cardio, just go for a run. You can do so many things, but just blocking that time, you have the rest of the day to chill, right? 30 minutes, really not that big of a deal. You can go get it done and then have a good breakfast, and that usually like sets the tone for the day. And indulge, but not overindulge. And then coming back is when you need to have a couple of things you that are like your how you come back from a holiday and you unpack, you
Yeah,
keep all your clothes
yeah,
away into the cupboard, you keep all the things in the places. It's like that when it comes to your training and diet as well. So you've gone out, you've like you know eaten whatever you have had, you wanted to, and indulge a little bit and had fun and whatever. But when you come back home, you get into that, you have to shift that mindset of, okay, what is my like habitual state of my body, right? Like what are the things that I usually do? Where do I keep my things? How do I plan my meals? What is my workout going to look like? So that's, it becomes a part of getting back to your routine. And that's the place that you should ideally get to, hopefully with practice. But mindset wise, I think that's how you should think about it when it comes to your nutrition and training and getting back to it. It needs to become like, okay, I'm coming back and like going back to work, right? So when you're going to office, you already plan your, what is your day looking like, what are the things that you need to keep in your bag and stuff like that, what are the outfits. So same thing, do it for your training and diet as well. So you come back, you plan your workouts. It's not something that you think about like, should I do it or can I give it some time, or like, I'll just take 2, 3 days off. If you just let that thought slip in, you are going to fall off track. So I always say, like, don't think about it. Like, switch off your brain, get into that zone of just getting back to the things that you need to do. And trust me, once you get yourself even to day one of getting back to the gym, have your meals according to whatever you need to make, that will definitely help you get back on track. Because the more you think about it, that's when you start feeling like, oh, like I don't want to, or do I need to? Like your mind really plays a lot of the game here. So just
Do
don't think about it and get back on
do
track.
you have time for one last question?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I'm going to keep this short. Now, a lot of people have this excuse for not working out. I don't have enough time, number one. Number two, I don't know what to do. You've crushed the excuse when you were saying start with a 30-minute walk.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying they've started with a 30-minute walk. Now they want more. And they're like, hey, we still have 30 minutes. we don't have equipment.
Mhm.
We have a house. And can you give these people like a simple 30-minute, easy to do workout at home? No excuses. If you
Yeah.
want to kind of have some basic equipment, sure. Maybe like a glute loop or resistance band, sure. But
Mhm.
if you could just uh, give them a no excuses workout that they could do in just 30 minutes.
Okay, this is an easy one. So if you have 30 minutes,
Yeah.
circuits are best.
Okay.
So let's say you do 2 to 3 circuits, upper body, lower body, core. Okay. So lower body, let's start with 3 exercises: squats, lunges, glute bridges.
Perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
done. Upper body, do push-ups, do what can you do? Do plank rows.
Okay.
Okay. And
You could do pull-ups.
you could do pull-ups, but pull-ups is not everybody can do it, right?
Fair enough.
So let's do you could do dips, you could do some, okay, if you have like a backpack at home, you could do presses.
I guess
Okay, like
everybody has a
shoulder
backpack. Yeah.
presses, backpack or something. That I think for upper body, you need something you can have, especially for women, because they struggle with a lot of body weight movements.
Uh,
Um,
let's assume they have resistance bands because you can easily buy resistance bands. So then
yeah,
what would you
yeah.
program?
So I think like upper body wise, you can do one push workout like chest press or push-ups. Um, yeah, or like shoulder press, and pulling you can do like rows with the band, so banded rows. Or you could do dips, right tricep dips. So 3 exercises for upper body. And then for core you could do plank, crunches, and let's say leg raises or bicycle crunches, any three core movements that you
Okay.
like doing,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Or bird dog is a good one, but yeah, any three. So you have 3 lower, you have 3 upper, you have 3 core. Do each exercise for 30 seconds and do each circuit 2 or 3 times, right? And then take a break of 2 minutes between each circuit. So let's say one circuit of lower body, 30 seconds per exercise, and then you take 1 minute off, repeat the circuit 2 or 3 times, take 2 minutes break, go into the next circuit of upper body, finish that 3 circuits, take 2 minute break, go into core circuit, finish that, and that's it, you're done. So that's a pretty good, like balanced, full body 30-minute workout with no equipment,
And
or
no
with
excuses.
minimal equipment
Now,
and no
no
excuses.
excuses. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kriti. This is very, very kind of you to have taken time out of your busy schedule and doing this. It means a lot. I hope
Of
you had a nice
course.
time. Yeah.
I had a great time. Thank you so much.
And for those of you listening, thanks a lot for listening and stay tuned for more interesting conversations on The Sasan Show.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.